Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Welcome to my vidcast where I talk about lots of pop culture topics, including anime, film, television, comic books, and every once in a while, I like to put in my 2 cents on things happening behind the scenes at different companies and corporations, especially those corporate overlords who control our favorite modern myths. In this case, Disney, which of course now owns things like Star Wars, Marvel Studios, and the entire 20th Century Collection, formerly 20th Century Fox. So now they also control things like Die Hard, Home Alone, films like that. And they're kind of in the midst of their own civil war. So we've mentioned how several commentators, I haven't really commentated a whole lot on it, but a lot of others have talked about how in Lucasfilm in particular, there's a little bit of a civil war going on between the people who want to continue to embrace George Lucas's visions and the people who are under control of Kathleen Kennedy, who want to revamp Star Wars and make it into some sort of propaganda thing for political pandering. Well, seems like those days are numbered. So apparently, there's this guy going around called Nelson Peltz, and he is directly challenging the current Disney CEO and chairman of the board, Bob Iger, for power. And he's what's known as an activist investor. So that doesn't mean he's an activist like, some, armpit hairing, hairy feminist and male feminist wearing pink all the time. This is a guy who is an investor who goes in and aggressively tries to revamp companies that aren't making money. And Disney isn't making money right now. Their parks are in shambles. They've chosen political pandering over telling good stories, and this has led to losses with Black Widow, with Shang-Chi, with just even their basic cartoons. I mean, we all saw that viral clip going around where characters from Proud Family, Louder and Prouder were basically reciting the debunked 1619 Project propaganda. And what's happening is Peltz, his organization, which I think is called the Trian Fund Management, they're trying to get a seat on the board. Now, what's kind of funny about this is Bob Iger, he ousted Bob Chapek, who was originally his successor, but Bob Chapek became the fall guy for a lot of the bad things that were happening at Disney, even though Bob Iger was largely responsible for them. So starting to embrace political pandering, that was Bob Iger. Bob Chapek kept trying to right the ship, but he would always encounter resistance. So Bob Iger is back in charge. He's blaming Chapek for all the issues, and he's enjoying, being back in charge, So this is from Fox Business. It says, activist investor Nelson Peltz wants a seat on Walt Disney's board, saying he wants to restore the magic in the entertainment and media company. Peltz's Trian Group filed a preliminary proxy statement on Thursday with the Securities and Exchange Commission seeking the position after announcing their intentions on Wednesday. Peltz said in the Trian press release that Disney has lost its way in recent years, resulting in a rapid deterioration in its financial performance from a consistent dividend-paying, high free cash flow generative business into a highly leveraged enterprise with reduced earnings power and weak free cash flow conversion. Okay, so that's basically just Wall Street talk for they're losing money. In a presentation accompanying the securities filing, Trian noted Disney's total shareholder return has materially underperformed. Now, this is true. As I noted, a lot of their big projects, whether it be Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel, or just the Disney brand, have just totally collapsed. The presentation said, we believe the current investor sentiment on Disney is low, reflecting the hard truth that Disney is a company in crisis and faces many challenges that weigh on the company's investment prospects. Disney shares are down more than a third over a one-year period. The S&P 500 is lower by half, just over 15%. So, it's really interesting. This guy, he's just moving in. And now I don't know anything about this guy's history. I don't know, where he lands on the political spectrum, and I don't really care. But I would like to see someone come in and right Disney's ship, because it has been sinking slowly, but it has been sinking. We're not talking about Titanic. We're talking about, they haven't hit the iceberg like, say, a company like that, like Limited Run Games, right? They crashed in to the political pandering iceberg, and it's making them sink. We see this with Netflix, right? They crashed into that iceberg, they're sinking. So much so that, they had to back off their attempts to stop password sharing. Now, Disney's not taking this lying down. They don't want change, even though they're losing money. So this is an article that came out today by Yahoo Finance. Walt Disney proposed to discuss activist investor Nelson Peltz's bid, seeking a board seat on the media entertainment conglomerate at its annual shareholder meeting on April 3rd. The board urged shareholders to vote against a proposal of Peltz's Trian Group that would reverse recent board changes to bylaws, and against a shareholder proposal requesting a report on the Disney's reliance on China's operations. In February, Trian wrote to Walt Disney shareholders, so that would be this month, to replace board director Michael Foreman for his lack of understanding of Disney's business and ability to contribute to rapidly shifting media ecosystem. Peltz has served on 11 company boards, including Procter & Gamble, I think also Nike. He has said these companies on average outperform the broader stock market index during his time as director on their boards. In January, Disney named a new independent chairman, Mark Parker. Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought Bob Iger was still the chairman, but it looks like they hired a new one. So correction from earlier. And opposed Peltz's attempt to join the board. Parker has been a member of Disney's board since 2016. And then while Disney said in a statement, while senior leadership of the Walt Disney Company and its board of directors have engaged with Mr. Peltz numerous times over the last few months, the board does not endorse the Trian Group nominee and recommends that shareholders not support its nominee. So, and also, one thing that this has noted is that Disney stock has gone up a little bit, but it's like 0.28 or something like that. That's not that big of a jump. And again, Disney has really lost its way. Say what you want to about Bob Eisner, his, failed attempts at building Disney parks internationally, his dumb attempts at making Disney sequels with those direct to VHS and DVD sequels. All of those were bad projects that really hurt Disney. But he still maintained the magic of Disney. The parks were at an all-time high. He was the guy who oversaw their purchase of the Muppets and Pixar, although he did kind of backstab Jim Henson when they purchased the Muppets, let's be real. But when Iger comes along, Iger wanted to be remembered as well. He actually had political ambitions. So he was thinking, I'm going to bring in Star Wars, I'm going to bring in the X-Men, because even though Disney owned Marvel Studios, a previous deal with 20th Century Fox kept the X-Men out of the MCU. Well, he bought 20th Century Fox and just changed the name to 20th Century Studios from Foxcorp, and Foxcorp immediately turned around and used the money to enhance their entertainment. So now they've got Fox Entertainment, which of course is real big on the Tubi streaming service. Tubi is a free streaming service that uses ads. I hope they never change it. I really like Tubi, but and then they started political pandering, and it started little, right? And then it grew and grew and grew and grew, and it became clear that the writers they were hiring primarily for Marvel and for Star Wars were more interested in getting high fives on social media than actually pleasing their audience. And in fact, they turned around and started attacking their audience. Disney has clearly lost its way. Now, I visited Disneyland before I moved out here to Arizona, and I had a good time. Like they had the restrictions that were in place due to the unspecified virus of unknown origins, as the Critical Drinker says, had largely been scaled back. Galaxy's Edge was more largely open, and it was fun. Now, I still think they should have made Galaxy's Edge Mos Eisley or a more familiar place within the Star Wars universe, but I know that was Kathleen Kennedy's grandstanding. But I still had a good time at the park, but you could just tell that there was just this lack of enthusiasm. And like I said, I had a good time, I had a blast. I would go back. I'm not one of these people who likes to bash Disney adults because they like to go to theme parks. Let people have a good time. Let people like what they like. Even on properties, like if someone likes the Disney sequel trilogy, which I do not, but if someone did, sure, I would debate them about the lack of merits in the film, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't not be their friend over it. I think those kinds of things are silly. Now, prequel haters are another story. I think prequel haters are the reason we have Disney sequels to begin with. And if you want a video on that for me to elaborate, let me know in the comments. But Disney definitely needs to have it shiprighted. It needs to get back on track. It needs to restore the magic that they have lost with all this political pandering nonsense that they've been doing really for the past 7 years. It's just it grew in intensity as time went on. So I look forward to seeing where this is going to go. I wonder in April what's going to happen at the Disney board meeting. This will definitely affect it in a huge way. So whatever the case may be, maybe even if Peltzer doesn't succeed, maybe this will still give Disney the incentive it needs and the push it needs to correct its course away from political pandering. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, that you'll leave me a comment and tell me what you think, that you'll share it out with your friends, and of course, consider subscribing to StudioJake. I cover all kinds of nerd and pop culture topics, including film, television, anime, comic books, and so much more. I hope that you'll also head over to my main website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more news, views, and commentary. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to my locals page. That's studiojakemedia.locals.com. It's the best way to support me. I'm trying to build a little community there. I have exclusive reviews and articles, so definitely head over there and check it out. And I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.